Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attendance this evening. We want to start pretty much on time, so we'll start the wheels rolling now. The door is shut, the crowds outside will just have to miss out. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Mike Williams, I'm Station Manager for Fresh FM, and welcome to VoxRadio. Fresh FM's audio and theatre creation that we've been running for now up to, this is our 6th year. And it is a celebration of imagination, both on the part of the people who have actually written the scripts that you'll see performed tonight, and in your minds as well, because what happens with these stories chiefly happens between your ears. So you're part of the creative process, and we very much value your presence here tonight. Thank you very much for coming. I would just like to do a little bit of housekeeping and thank a few people and introduce a few things before we start, if that's okay. And forget about elections for now. We'll get the result later on. If we hear any whispers in the meantime, we'll let you know. But we're not listening for anything.
Bring on the revolution.
We have several writers who have come from out of town. Tonight I'd just like to acknowledge their presence. Ian McKenzie from Auckland, is he here?
Hello.
Thank you, Ian, for coming all the way from Auckland. Naoko Kudo and Patty Holder have come up from Christchurch. Naoko is also performing in her creation tonight, which is really cool. And did Connor make it from Wellington? Connor McLeod, 12 years old, his mother rang yesterday and said she was going to try and get him over here if she could, but obviously didn't make it. But everybody else who's taken part, we had inquiries from Rotorua, from way down south, from all ends of the country, and it was really great to get such great response to VoxRadio in its revamped form. What you're going to see tonight are the 10 finalists. We have 4 in the junior/intermediate category. It's kind of difficult to separate what was happening between those two, so we brought them in together. And we have 3 each in the open, non-drama and the open section. The non-drama section is really designed for things like monologues, prose, poetry, that sort of thing. And the open section really is for multicast things, dramas, stories, plays that tell a story and that involve several characters. You'll get the gist of it as we go. We've mixed them up, so you're not just going to get all the junior ones first and then all the senior ones. We've tried to make it entertaining for you in the process. Each of the finalists here tonight has sort of broken through the ranks to establish themselves in their own right for worth being here, for their talent, for the quality of what they've done. I'd like a brief round of applause for everybody's efforts, please, before we start. Let's not get carried away. But I'm pleased you responded like that, because this response from the audience, for those who have been to this sort of thing before, you'll realise that this is exactly what we need. We need an audience that's going to respond. You can laugh, you can cry, you can screech, you can howl, you can be frightened, you can be touched, you can clap, you can cheer, do all those things to respond to what you see happening before you on stage. The thing that's different about radio drama is that you don't see the things that I said happen between your ears. You won't see the jet taking off, you won't see the car arriving, you won't see the tree being chopped down, you won't see all that sort of stuff. You've got to imagine that. And if it helps at any stage along the way, close your eyes by all means. And if you've never seen radio drama take place before, you'll be surprised to see we've got a bunch of people sitting up here look as if they're really just in the way, but they're not. The 3 most valuable people we have here tonight in a way, Anthony Hodgson, Cynthia Lorien and Kim Mary are our live sound effects people. They will do all kinds of strange and wonderful things before your very eyes and make sounds that you'll recognise, not necessarily with things that you recognise that would normally make those sounds. What else can I tell you? John Wansborough, man in charge of our audio production tonight, he's recording everything, and if he says stop, it's all rubbish, then we stop and we go back and do it again. But he won't say it in a judgmental sense. He'll be saying it because something's gone wrong with the recording somewhere. So for the purposes of everything tonight, as far as audio is concerned, he is God. I'd like to also now present Gray Burton, who is familiar to most of you, I'm sure, creative director here at the Independent Theatre and Arts Centre. Gray's taken charge of assembling the cast that you'll see performing tonight, and he's taken charge of rehearsing everything, giving us the venue, and what a great venue it is too, by the way. It's lovely to have the audience so close. And he is effectively your MC from here on. He will be calling the shots and saying, right, next up we're going to have blah, blah, blah. All the cast get ready, please come up and do it. So, without further ado, Gray, I'd like to hand the floor over to you. Thank you very much for your attention. By the way, we won't be announcing any winners until the end. So you'll see all the finalists, and then I'll tell you who wins the prize.
Well, thanks for joining us, and thank you, Mike. Mike Williams. None of this is possible without Fresh FM. So thank you, Mike. Tonight you're going to see some fantastic audio theatre, and it really is a great pleasure to present it to you. So without further ado, I'd like to get started. I'd like to call to the stage Cynthia Lorien, who will be performing the first piece. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce Loss of Childhood, a monologue.
Okay.
It isn't until you reach double figures that you realise what a con childhood has been.
Bless you, have you any wool? Yes sir, 3 bags full. 1 for the master, 1 for Dame, 1 for the little boy who lives down the lane.
A simple childhood nursery rhyme? Think about it. When I was a child, I loved this rhyme and would chant it all the time. I really thought that sheep could talk. After all, what is this rhyme about? To me as a child, it was about someone asking a sheep if it had any wool, and the sheep answered them. The sheep spoke back to them. The sheep talked. Well, can you imagine my horror when at the tender age of 10, I visited a farm and asked the sheep if it had any wool? The sheep didn't answer, it just went back. By the time I had asked 6 sheep, I knew something wasn't right. Okay, it's a bit of a silly question. Have you any wool? When they obviously have. But they could have at least told me that. But they couldn't, could they? Because sheep don't speak our language? I went to look at the pigs. No, they didn't live in a house of twigs, straw or brick. Nor did they wear clothes, nor did they speak. Yet the story of the 3 little pigs led me to believe that they could. The cat didn't talk, nor did the dogs, nor did the cows, or any other animal who I tried to speak to that day. I had been tricked into believing that they could. Boy, was I growing up in a hurry. Why do adults do this to us? Wrap us up in a fantasy world, and then one day we find out that none of it is true, and all our illusions are destroyed and our world crushed. I would love to know why. It really makes you wonder what else adults haven't told you the truth about. What about the Tooth Fairy, Easter Bunny, Father Christmas? I would really love to know. But what if I found out that they were another adult fantasy imposed on us? That could mean no money from the Tooth Fairy, no Easter eggs from the Easter Bunny, no presents from Father Christmas. Oh, I'd rather not know. I really don't care where they come from as long as I get them. Anyway, I don't want to grow up too quickly.
That was Loss of Childhood, a finalist in the junior intermediate section of the Fresh FM VoxRadio audio theatre competition.